Tasty, tasty. Tasty, tasty. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I hope you're having a really, really great Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Yeah, we're streaming midweek, which is unusual, but not that unusual. Before I do anything though, I need to clean my glasses because you can probably see in the reflections that they are absolutely filthy right now. And I can't really see very well, so let's give these a nice clean, and then I'll catch up with chat. Now I've taken my glasses off, I can absolutely not read chat very well. If I squint, maybe. Captain Reed, I came first, wahoo. Mace Say says midweek stream. Yep, midweek stream. Just gotta get out there and stream sometimes. That is better, I can now see. Okay, so yeah, let's catch up with the rest of the chat. Gadgetoid is here as well, says hello. Nebby is here too. Captain Reese says time to contend with the Twitch TV app. I have it on the TV that's just on the other side of the room here. I never use it though. If I'm going to watch Twitch, I'm here at the desktop. Hello, can't wait for the first roll for caffeine. So, actually, Bullboy, roll for caffeine is something I have now prepped. I got the laminator out and I made the cards. And I was going to give you guys like an example and we were going to roll together for caffeine. I've already noted, because we've been using it this week, a couple of slight things I need to change, like different dice sizes and things like that. But I'm really excited to share it with you. So yeah, roll for caffeine from Jay's Roastery, my coffee company. We'll start running on Friday morning. It'll be every weekday. We'll see how it goes. I still need to figure out how I'm going to edit the videos, because we're going to have to take it in sections, like a 10-second section, a 10-second section, one for like each roll, and then kind of like edit it together. And I'm not a video editor, so I don't know how to do that yet. But that's kind of like the plan for Thursday, is to figure that out. So I haven't recorded any, but we did play it yesterday. Mel and I both played it. We both ended up with really horrible drinks. I had to chug an iced coffee, which was not great. And we also roped in the UPS courier who collects stuff in an afternoon. He came in. I was like, he often asks for a coffee, so I was like, yes, you can have a coffee, but you have to play roll for caffeine. He had no idea what Dungeons and Dragons was. He had no idea how it worked, but he had a great time, and he ended up with a really nice coffee as well, which he thought it was nice. I'm not sure I would have done, but yeah, it was good fun. So roll for caffeine will be on the Jay's Roastery channel on Instagram, and maybe TikTok if I figure TikTok out by the end of the week as well. So yeah, I'm excited for it. No one beats me in coming first. You just beat yourself, right? Show me your Switch. Switches I have that I want to show you today are here. Okay, let's put this in, drop that then. Tasty, tasty. the jokes here, your poor partner. Good thing I don't have one. Bold assumption. Oh dear. Super Hands, 12:30 stream. Do we get a free preview of Jay eating his lunch on camera as a teaser for Only Keebs and Feet? Here is lunch. This is lunch. Liquid lunch. Caffeine from the gods. That is lunch. Online Safety Act hit you hard. Yeah. The wank ban is in full effect, right? Am I allowed to say that on Twitch? I'm not sure, but it is in full effect. Everyone just out in their VPN usage. Yeah, I have a great VPN. For those that you are interested in VPNs, I use one called Windscribe. It's great. If you'd like some tips, I suggest the Las Vegas Casino VPN link. It's cheap. It's good. You can access everything you want to access. Ojem, thank you so much for 14 months of subs. I thoroughly appreciate it. ZBC, thank you so much for 2 months of subs as well. It seems like we have some keyboard errands to run today. I always have keyboard errands, so we're going to do a few things today. One, I'm going to show you the Gateron lanes because I'm really excited by them. Although I don't know if we'll get them in a keyboard today. The second thing is I'm going to show you kind of some of the challenges we have with customer plate files and the kind of lengths we have to go to sometimes to rectify a plate file before we cut it. And bear in mind that we cut these at cost. Like it's a considerable time sink sometimes. So I wanted to show you guys that and kind of give you guys an idea of what that looks like. And then I have the Moon TKL project where I'm retrofitting and cutting up JST connectors. I started this the other week on Instagram. That we need to get working as well, which is for a personal project. So before I send the whole thing off to Pexon, Salopian Cerakote for Cerakoting to match Pepega, Pepperbait, sorry, or Divina Papaya, because it's going to be very similar. I want to make sure I can actually get it all working, and then we'll send it off to him. So yeah, that's the plan. Thankfully, I have an offline supply. Oh, do you now? Do you now? A wild J appears. Yes. Any chance of closed captions? Oh shit, sorry. Yes, I've turned the closed captions on. Mr. Cullen, those are there for you. Oh no, now Notion thinks I'm doing a AI meeting and it's starting AI meeting notes. Whilst I like Notion, sometimes it's a little bit intrusive. Your glasses change the shape of your face. Yes, I am significantly more attractive. I'm like a 3 instead of a 1 with my glasses. So my glasses do change the shape of my face. It's called getting old and having bags under your eyes that the glasses detract from. So yeah. Baggery, hey, thanks so much for being here. Stores are subscribed for 52 months, 52 light years. Wow, dude. I need to fix all the badges. I will get those fixed soon because you've got a 1-year badge, but you've been a subscriber for almost 5 years, so I need to fix that sorted. Need to fix my coffee machine so I can get some more sci-fi. Absolutely. I'm drinking the Fiction Blend today, which is my favorite. So yeah. Good video editing apps for mobile, otherwise DaVinci Resolve on desktop.
Incredible.
I'm going to make a note of DaVinci Resolve. I think I'll be trying to do it on mobile. So if anyone has any suggestions on how I can take on iPhone a series of clips and then create one cohesive video easily for TikTok, Instagram, I'd be very much down to know. So let me know. Link in the Instagram. Yeah, so I can show you the Instagram. So if I flick to here, turn on browser sharing, and go to, before I do that, just in case it shows something I don't want it to. Right, where's the search button gone? Where's the search button on desktop? There it is. Okay, I can now share it. There we go. So this is Jay's Roastery. It's not, it's a side account for the coffee company. Has a link to the website up here, and you can see all of the stuff that we're doing on here. Old coffee machines, a lot of the coffees we've poured, some home setups, things like that. We also sponsored the Dutch keyboard meetup as well, which was quite fun. But yeah, Roll for Caffeine does start on Friday. So yeah, Jay's Roastery. Let me drop the link in chat. There you go. Void Manger, thank you so much for 37 months of subs. 3 years for my favourite unhasty, contemplative British streamer, and that on a Tuesday. I tried to find a fitting translation for the German word unaufgeregt. What like? Okay, I'm gonna have to Google Translate that. Google Translate. In fact, I could just Perplexity this. What is the German word? Oh, Jay, you can type better than this. Unaufgeregt. Just making sure I'm spelling right. Me. Let's see what it tells us. If I pop this over here, I might be able to share this with you. Pop. The German word means calm, unexcited, composed, or unagitated. Describes a person's style, tone, or attitude that is relaxed, cool-headed, and not easily excited or stirred up. It can also be used in a sense of handling things in a low-stress or matter-of-fact way without drama or agitation. I think that's a pretty fair description of me. I'll take that. I'll take that. Poor UPS guy, if you leave for DHL. Yeah. It's looking more and more likely we will move to DHL, but with UPS boxes for a long time. I am still waiting for UPS to come back to me with some revised rates. I need to chase that. I don't know when that's going to be. Can recommend Windscribe too. Yeah, it's a good VPN. My tip is just set up firewall rules in my fancy router so you don't have to mess around with your OS. Nice. Davina Bait, absolutely. Thanks for fixing closed captions. No worries, dude. No worries. Definitely not a 1, and that's because that will put me in the minuses. I'm sure that's not true. I can get good recommendations from my Instagrammer and TT friends. Thank you. Yes, just let me know. CapCut seems to be the go-to mobile editing software, I think, these days. Okay. They use Adobe Premiere for mobile, though. Okay. My phone's going nuts. Oh, it's the new game I've downloaded. It was Steam letting me know it's now installed. Hey Jay, I have mixed feelings about the lanes. They're really cool and fun, but I found them to be really inconsistent where the tactility starts. I have to play a bit more with them before I come to conclusions. That's fair. We'll have a look at them in a bit. Is iMovie still bad for portrait? No idea. I've not touched iMovie in years. I acknowledge I'm an early adopter of new tech though. That's fair. Choo choo. Nice. Is that the new emoji we've got? Button mesh. Nice, I like that. Which switches are you using in this build? There's no build today. If the thing tells you there is a build, we're not building a keyboard today. We're just doing some chores today and having a chat. Oh, do you mean in this board? This board's got Gateron Type R's in it. Sounds fantastic. It is the Cloudline. You're a highly strung, agitated bitch. Fair. I'm not. I can be highly strung, but I have a presence of calm over the top of it. This is something I learned from many years working in projects, and doing like senior leadership style events and town halls and all of that kind of stuff. Projects and much of life can be described as a bunch of projects. Like you move from one project to the next, and that is what life is. You've got a constant series of unique challenges, opportunities, tribulations, trials, whatever you want to call them, that is your life. And if you can maintain a separate silo for each of them, they each become individual, opportunities themselves or problems themselves, depending on what word you want to pick. But you have to realize that you can only control what you can control. You can't ever control outside of that. So all you can ever do is preempt and react. Those are the only two options you've got. For things outside of your control, you can try and predict and come up with a plan as to how you're going to handle them if they happen. Or you can be reactive and say, if something like that happens, I'm just going to react to it. And depending on what that part of your life might be, you might have different ways of looking at it. So some things you might say, I'm just going to be totally reactive to that. Things like, your car might break down, you might get a flat tire, your boiler might break and you've got no hot water. There's only so much you can do to prepare for that, like service your car and service your boiler, right? You can't, and for flat tires, you can run over a nail anyway. So you can't always plan for those or preempt those. So those are things that you have to accept, that you will deal with them as they arrive, and you're going to be reactive to those. And then you can have a series of prescribed responses as to how you deal with that. For things that you're going to be proactive about and take steps to fix forward, this can be things like improving your work-life balance. It could be improving your job opportunities. You know, it might be going out and looking for new opportunities whilst you're still in one to try and get your boss to pay you more. It could be 1,000,001 different things like that. So those are the things that you're trying to work on, and each project will have mostly fall into one or the other of those camps. Some things will fall into multiples, and you'll have individual parts that will fall into multiples, but you just need to treat life very much like that. So yeah, so being highly strung and agitated, the secret to that, because that describes me in my teenage years at the very least, and probably my early 20s, is to stop looking at the micro things and focusing on those and panicking about them. Look at the macro. Where is life headed? Where is the overall shape of things moving towards? You know, small things are going to niggle you and things like that, but are they going to be relevant in a week, 2 weeks, 10 weeks, a year's time? Probably not. Maybe not. Might have an influence on future decisions, but they're probably not going to be relevant in and of themselves. So, yeah. Radiate somberness. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. True Blaze, thank you so much for 31 months of subs. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much for being here. It's a long time. 31 months. It's a long time. Of course, it's advice only. It's easier said than done. It's a training kind of thing. Like, you have to train yourself to be like that. And projects, you know, within corporations taught me how to do that, because you'd have 1,000,000 things. And it seems like, you know, oh, I can't get this one person on this call to authorize this thing to happen. Might be the end of the world. Is it really? No. Life's still going to happen. The company's still going to run. The project's still going to happen. It's just going to be a little bit later or whatever. And, you know, what's the real impact of that? You kind of have to like compartmentalize. Every time you type in the cloud line, I get a bit used to it. It sounds fantastic. If you don't like this, keyboards aren't for you. That's a really bad take, but we'll go with it. Right, okay. What do I want to show you guys today first? Where should we start? Should we start with roll for caffeine? We've got more Gatorars coming. Yeah, Gatars are coming. Use sheer force of will to change the world. Absolutely. Absolutely. Show us some polypropylene. No. Unknown unknowns for a reason. Yeah, it's like, okay, so I prefer the so for those of you who've never worked in projects, there is a thing called known unknowns and unknown unknowns. So the known unknowns are things that you can plan for. The unknown unknowns are things that can just happen. So the known unknowns are these are all of the things that we know about that may or may not happen. So it's unknown whether they'll happen, but we know that they could happen. And then you have everything that's in the other bucket, that these are all the other things that we have no hope in hell of, you know, predicting. But I like to look at that in terms of infinities. So this is a really good concept to try and get people on board with known unknowns and unknown unknowns. And you'd say, what's the biggest number you can think of? And people will go, you know, 100 million, trillion, billion, quadrillion, to the power of 25 or whatever. And then eventually, after some people have named some big numbers, and some people might get really smart and name things like Graham's number, someone will go infinity. And it's like, great, okay, infinite, a data set is infinite. It's infinity in itself. It is infinite. But there are different types of infinity. There are infinite infinites, such as the fact that you can constantly add 1 to any number you can think of, and it will grow 1 larger. So you say 1 plus 2, you know, 3 plus 1, 4 plus 1, 5 plus 1, 6 plus 1, so on. That never ends. It keeps on going and going and going, and it will never end. You could use every single atom in the universe, writing it out on paper, and it would never end. Eventually you'd hit some really big numbers like Graham's number, which there are not enough atoms in the universe to describe. Even if each digit was the size of an atom, there isn't enough space in the universe to describe Graham's number. It's that big. But there are also something called, so that's an infinite. It goes on forever. It could never stops. But there are also finite infinites. And finite infinites can, by default, by definition, contain infinite infinites. So a finite infinite is an infinite that has an end. And I'll give you an example of this. If you start at 1, the number 1, and then you go 1 0.1, 1.2. Okay, you have, you know, point up to 0.9, and you get to 2. Okay, so you go 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, blah blah blah, 1.9, 2. Okay, but between each of those numbers, you have more numbers, so you can go 1.11, 1.111, or you can even go 1.000001. It's still between 1 and 2, but it's a finite data set because it is limited to the fact that you will always hit the number 2 eventually. That's a finite infinity. But that finite infinity, you can always add another 0.01 to that, and it will always increase in number. So you can always add another 0 to the decimal place. So you can go 0.01, 0.001, 0.0001. But that data set will automatically include the full finite infinity. So that's kind of how you need to look at known unknowns and unknown unknowns. It's kind of a fun little mental exercise. It's good. It's good. What ifs? Yeah. Afternoon, Jay. Do you have any Mac keycaps? Yes, we do. If you would like to see my favorite Mac keycaps, if you go to In Stock GMK Sets, so you can come down here and you can go to Brand. I couldn't see it then. Click on GMK. And we have, I think we still have some empty new modern Dolch sets with the Mac layout on it, but we have Extended 2048 somewhere. Why can I not find it now? Here it is. Extended 2048, available in light and dark, and as you'll see, there are Mac Legends for these. So there you go. We've also got a discount on during the stream today, which is the same as it was on Sunday. It's 30% off anything on that link. I'm not sure actually if Extended 2048 falls under this link. It may or may not do. Let's see if we can find it. Brand GMK. Does it fall under this? Does it fall under this? It does. So you can get 30% off that right now. If you ordered whilst the stream's live, you'll get 30% off that price whilst the stream's live. Look, if we add it to cart and then go to the cart, you saw the discount there already, but we go to the cart and you'll see, look, it drops in price because there's a discount. Stream sale is now live. So there you go. You can get that discount right now. Okay, Oskalane says, we use this for awareness competence curve also in stages. 1, unconscious incompetence, don't know they're incompetent, don't know how to do the thing. Conscious incompetence, know they don't know how to do it, can make choices accordingly, or not. 3, conscious competence, know how to do it and know what it is. And unconscious competence, so great that you can do it intuitively without having to really think about it. Yeah, we've used those sometimes. Like waiting for some updates. Is that shade through a Mario at GMK? Is that a Mario shade? I don't trust our product managers to be telling me everything I need to know. They have a track record of coming up with requirements that would have been great to know 8 months ago when we were designing another thing, and I'd explicitly ask about whether I needed to design for flexibility to adapt to such requirements, and they said no, that wouldn't happen. Okay, so there's 2 sides to this. 1, product managers and product owners will share information in silos. The reason for that is because they see each individual part of work as a new thing. They don't see always the bigger picture, in my experience. Those that do see the bigger picture will then often not share the information anyway because it serves their best interests to do things silo and compartmentalized. Well, maybe not your job, because I don't know exactly what you do, but in terms of the technology side, whoever is the lead representative on the technology side, so most labs are split into 2 sides, business and technology, for this kind of stuff, they need to be starting to push back and say, okay, we can design this and this is what that would look like and this is how we meet your requirements. But whilst we've got the hood up and the garage door is open and we've got the tools out, these are all the things that we can prepare sockets for, whatever terminology your company uses. We can prepare, other things for. We can have all this ready just in case you need this stuff in the future. And they'll go, okay, that's great. What does it add to cost and timeline? You said, well, if we build it in such a way that allows us to adapt in the future, it does this. If we build it in such a way as we're just giving you the defined feature set, it does that. But at least they're keeping you in a job because you're designing one thing and you're building that and you're deploying that. And then you're having to go back and unpick some of this to do some rework and refactoring, some technical debt. But it keeps you in a job, right? So there are reasons why people keep technical debt around in larger institutions. There are absolute reasons why people do it. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but if you put yourself in their frame of mind, they create technical debt opportunities. To create technical debt as an opportunity to fix something later on to deliver a new perceived benefit, whatever that might be. So just bear in mind the thing that when you're discussing these topics with people, especially when they become quite senior, they are not playing 2D chess. They're playing 3 or 4 moves in advance about where they kind of want to see the structure go ultimately, but also making sure that they have opportunity to keep work flowing. So just bear that in mind. And I'm not saying people are doing that consciously, but that is something that I've seen in almost every large institution I've looked at, and that's a lot. Welcome to Working for a Business. That's exactly what I just said, just much easier. So yeah. Right now I just feel completely conscious. Sure. Sounds like task sizing. Task sizing's a little bit more specific because you're talking individual components at that point, especially when you're talking like sprint burn downs and things like that. But yeah. Guided price for a super big set. Yeah. Extended 2048 right now, and they're beautiful. Hopefully you get Beep's upcoming powerful 2048 too. Yeah, he dropped me a DM about that the other day. So yeah. I'm the staff engineer, so that is meant to be me. Try to have the conversations and outline the risks and costs of not taking those inputs, but they never seem open to them. Bear in mind that they might have that bigger picture that you're not seeing. So just ask them and say, look, why wouldn't you want to do this? And it might be cost, it might be time, it might be, keeping work around for future generations, who knows? Generations of projects, who knows? Just ask the question. Say, why wouldn't you do this? Propose it to them as an opportunity. Say, this is good, but I like this. And say, here's your opportunity for X more, whatever it is, FTE, cost, value, whatever metric you want to put onto it, whatever OKR, KPI, outcome you want to put onto it. Say, this is what you could have. Why don't we have that? It comes down to that old coding definition where it was like, okay, I need some wheeled transport to get from A to B, and the minimum viable product is a skateboard, but the actual solution, what they want, is a car. There's a big difference between the two, and it's a big upsell to try and get there. And it might be that the fact that they're saying, well, that's good enough right now. Skateboard's great when you're 16. It's not so great when you're 40 years old, right? It's great when you commute 10 blocks. It's not great when you commute 50 miles. So it's about refactoring the kind of viewpoint that they're taking and you're taking, because you might be looking at it from different angles, and that might give you a completely different viewpoint. It's not saying anyone's right or wrong. It's just saying that if you put yourself in other people's shoes, you might see why decisions are being made in that way. And you also might be able to come up with an argument that helps you prioritize your way of doing something as well. So yeah, absolutely things to look at. I've been in places where I've been very successful in that. My current business unit is just a mess. Great advice. So sometimes that's half the challenge. Refactoring the business to make sure that they can accommodate the technical needs is often a bigger challenge. You go to most places, DevOps is a mess, and it tends to be like you have three or four kind of main areas, and certainly in the banks, everything falls apart at the DevOps pipeline because it's never prioritized. So people will have product teams building stuff, and they will have product owners with ideas, and they'll kind of start getting things going, and it'll come to deployment, rollout, DevOps stuff, and production, and it never happens, or it doesn't happen in the prescribed timescale, or 2 or 3 different people working on the same thing in different ways, and it kind of all comes to a head after you've done most of the work, and that's just inefficiency in large organizations. You are always going to have red tape, you're always going to have inefficiencies. Changing the culture to try and get around those is important. So yeah. I'm the horrible person that has to look across the entire org. No decision is perfect and everything has wastage. Absolutely. Sometimes you trade efficiency for options later. Sometimes you get it wrong. Sometimes you build technical debt knowing it's technical debt because it's the right thing for the time. Like you say, everything has wastage, and sometimes that's what technical debt becomes. So yeah, it's absolutely the right thing. DevOps pipeline's good. Okay, you've got the hard part done. You've got the hard part done. All this talks of organization and structure turns my blood cold. Welcome to corporate life, Gadgetoid. Something luckily we don't have here in small business prototypist land. but something I kind of miss sometimes because I'm good at it. I know I'm good at it, and I like to do things. Like everyone, I like to do things I'm good at. So I think one of the things I know that I'm gonna have to do is start to look at business opportunities again at some point. So yeah, permanent temporary solutions to legacy problems with no future proofing. Technical debt. Was literally having to make a technical debt decision earlier, which is why I was watching via CC. Technical team are going to hate me. Still the right call. Yeah. And this is the thing. But then that's when. So the one side of this that I'm not discussing actually is the communication side. So when those, and I suspect you're actually pretty good at this, Kalain. But I suspect a lot of people in your position aren't particularly good at this. It's when you're making a decision that creates something that's going to be unpopular, whether that is technical debt like we're talking about here or whatever else. It's being able to have a communication path or methodology or opportunity to ensure that everyone's on the same page. And it sounds like that's what's missing in Reed's corporation. No one is able to portray to him why that decision was the correct decision. And that communication is often missing. So you'll just get told, oh, we're not doing that anymore, guys, we're now doing this. We're building the skateboard, the car's out the window, just build the skateboard. And you go, but this is stupid. How are we going to put 15 people or 5 people on the skateboard? It doesn't work, or whatever. There's been a decision made for whatever reason, and different areas will have different responses to that decision. Some people get it straight away, some people won't get it straight away. The challenge then is making sure you have a communication pathology that enables you to ensure that everyone at least understands why that decision was made and not just leaves them in a blind limbo. It might be that they don't care. It's like, great, okay, that's fine, we'll just move on, we'll do it. But if they do care, they need to have the opportunity to understand. And I think, Kalain, knowing you and knowing you pretty well, I think by now, I think you'll be very, very good at being able to give people that closure and that understanding. I think in a lot of institutions that's significantly missing. So yeah, you want to work for Jay? You don't. No one wants to work for me. I find it scary sometimes when I look at our technical debt board. Yeah, but just BMT. It means there's work for life, right? I hire a blimp, put it overhead, record a video of me saying, you'll do it this way, I'll be fired, and then the blimp leaves. You know you don't do that. You know you don't do that. Stakeholder management will always have its pains anywhere, sadly. I've worked and I've consulted at a few places that actually had this down, and they tended to be open structure organizations rather than closed structure organizations, and they tended to have quite flat structures as well rather than hierarchical. Obviously there's still some bumps on a flat structure. You're never going to get away from the CEO being able to say, actually, no, this is my vision, we're doing it that way. But yeah, the flatter the organization, the more that communication becomes easier. So yeah. This is true, and the business is growing, so having things to do is never a bad thing. Keeping people employed is often the name of the game, right? And technical debt is employment.
Tasty, tasty.
Mr. Blackbrook, thank you so much for 39 months. 39 months, let's go. Okay, so I've just realised something, Mr. Blackbrook, and I hope this isn't too much doxing, but a certain big 4-0 happens next month for you, which will be your 40th month. I think that's serendipitous, and hugs. I love listening to business talk while editing keyboard pictures. Nice. Also looking. Hello, lovelies. True. Yeah. We're spending $50K addressing an operational risk that our data informs us is going to mitigate $500 of operational spend per annum because it is the current process and we need to match it. Without knowing more about that, it's impossible to say. But what is that? I'm gonna take a stab that 50K thing that you're creating does more than just that one thing. It won't just mitigate that one $500 of operational spend per annum, and because if no C-suite exec is ever going to sign that off, there is going to be something more to that. I'm going to guess that there's something any more to it. I'm going to guess that there is some underpinning technology that's delivered as a result of it, or it creates opportunities to add things to it later on in such a way that it will offer different business value. And if that $500 spend per annum is controlled by a number of FTE, and there is decision councils and multitude of other things, that $500 might not actually cost $500 to decide. If you've got to have 25 meetings with 25 people there, you know, and they're all an hour long, the cost is probably getting close to that $50,000 mark every, you know, over like 3 or 4 years. So there is different levels of how you look at it as well. Like when you're looking at benefits, you're not looking at just the actual physical cost of delivering something. You're looking at the cost of getting to that cost as well. So if that means that you've got to have 25 people taking 25 meetings and taking 25 hours worth of work every year for 5 years, then there may be an opportunity to create a benefit, a financial benefit. And sometimes it's worthwhile spending more money to do something without having a financial benefit to it. You know, there is absolutely times when that is an opportunity to do, because it makes things easier in the future, and there's other opportunities that can come off the back of it. Me trying to get 1.4 million signed off for something that we should have implemented 25 years ago. Those tend to be harder sells, because that's an interesting one, Blackbrook, because when you have something like that, and we had a load of these in the bank, you're trying to say, 25 years ago, we should have spent a quarter of this money to deliver this as we're going to deliver it now. It's now 1.4 million to deliver it. And the instant response you're going to get is, well, we've lasted for 25 years. Why can't we last for another 25 years? If it hasn't impacted us for the last 25 years, why should we carry on doing it? And then it's about building whoever's in charge of the pot, and whoever has to go and ask, you know, with the hands out and say, please, sir, can I have some more? It's their responsibility to come up with a decent argument that says this is why we need to do it, and this is the benefit of doing it, and this is the impact of not doing it. Most business cases that you see, they show all the benefits and say it's great, we're doing this because of this benefit and that benefit and this benefit, soft benefit here, hard benefit there, cash, saving money. What they don't do is they don't say, but if we don't do it, this is the technical debt that will accrue, this is the impact from a regulatory whatever perspective, this is the negative side of that argument, this is what you're signing up to. By not spending that 1.4 million now, you're actually signing up to spend X number in the next 5 years. So bear that in, and then that becomes a very different conversation, because you're flipping it over. It's like, you can choose to spend 1.4 million now, or you can spend whatever the number is, 5 million quid over the next 5 years. It's your choice. Which would you rather do? Would you rather spend 1.4 million now or 5 million? And if you start to factor it into conversations that way, it becomes a little bit easier. We also print money, so their choice. Are you hiring, Mr. Reed? Does your company need someone to come in and create some opportunity? We love business cases improving. Yeah. Do you know one of the funniest things I ever got involved in? I can't go into too much detail with this, but it was a case of business case was created for a project. Project was built and deployed in correct timescales to a budget, and it did what it said on the tin. And then we were asked to track the benefit to prove that the benefit was being achieved, and it's like, wait, what? So you want us to, like, and it was I think the benefits for this were an FTE reduction over time, and it's like, look, you're saving 25,000 people that work in a call center for one of the biggest companies in the country an hour a week. Do you want me to go out to them and say, how many times are you not doing this? Like, it becomes like a chicken and egg situation. It's like, look, we've proven we delivered this. Asking people to show that they're not spending time doing something that they would have previously done, you can't prove a negative. So yeah, it's interesting though. I used to think banks and financial institutions have great infrastructure. Najun, I haven't even read the rest of your comment, but before I go further, I can tell you that is not the case. There are still accounts at certain banks in this country, the UK, where all of the account information is handled by reel-to-reel tapes. This still exists for certain products in certain banks, and they will have an old school 1960s giant reel-to-reel tape machine that records transactions on it, and that's the only way those accounts get updated. That still exists today, or it did have as of 5 years ago when I was still in banking. and systems in place to handle ins and outs of money and payments. But after being in a system migration and remediation project, oh boy, it's never-ending mountain of problems. Yeah. So system migration is often more painful than you want it to be by an order of magnitude. Remediation is what comes after migration. Yeah, and it's also because a lot of modern technology isn't as accurate as older technology. The more code and stuff we develop on top of things, it becomes significantly less reliable for banks. Certainly, when you're calculating interest to, you know, 1,000 decimal places, it can, and daily, it can get really, really confusing. And a lot of the times, the Fortran and systems like that were developed years ago. This is why a lot of banks still use mainframe systems, because they're significantly more accurate than modern systems when you build them. Disregard projects and management. Banks and financial institutions are a mess. Yes. Move to Alaska and live off the land. Maybe try Cornwall. It's a bit nicer. Excel spreadsheets all the way down. Yeah, still every single bank, as far as I'm aware, to this day, and did 5 years ago. Again, I've not been in banking for 5 years. For house purchases, used CHAPS payment. That was basically a giant shared Excel sheet across all of the banks. Clearinghouse automated payment services were not automated. They were an Excel sheet shared between the banks. We'll be hiring directors externally soon. Send me a link. The fun one is that insurers need to support the rating programs they used 25 to 30 years ago. Retiring all the logic around that is a living that way. Yeah, absolutely. So even if we replace the policy and quoting systems, we still need to move the rating program. Yeah, that makes sense. You start questioning everything that is in place. When will the next problem occur? Yeah, COBOL's actually really, really good for any financial institution. You'll find that a lot of banks across the world, so Bank America, Bank West, you know, a lot of big banks around the world still rely on fundamentally what is a COBOL mainframe system, because they are so accurate and you can get them to do exactly what you want. I lost my thought about banks being updated when I had to test their systems using Internet Explorer 6 and 7 in 2020. Yeah, so here's a fun fact. The bank I used to work for used to pay 14 million quid a year to Microsoft because they didn't want to update users' machines from Windows XP, and this was in 2019, I think. Didn't want to update Windows users from Windows XP to Windows, you know, whatever, 11 or 10, because it meant that they couldn't use Internet Explorer 6, and a ton of applications were developed internally that ran on the intranet that only worked in Internet Explorer 6, and they would have to refactor every single one of those to get them to work in a more modern browser. It was crazy. Work on ZOS stuff for written decades before I was born. It's cool. Fortran. Yeah, not Fortran, Fortran. A lot of modern insurance rating programs are spreadsheets wrapped in a software layer. Just watching while scoff lunch. Nice, nice. My grandfather has more running code than me. Probably so. Probably so. COBOL developer. Yeah. Sounds like Lloyd's. It was Lloyd's. I remember the money spent. You almost certainly worked at a bank I worked with. It's insane. I should really get back to work. Fair. My bank here in Germany still runs OS2 Warp 4 on 2 of their desktops. Doesn't surprise me. I wish I could still be on Windows XP. Not with all the security bugs you don't, Adam. Not with all the security bugs. Frankie1001, welcome to the stream, dude. Oh dear. Right, okay. So we've talked about a load of stuff, but we haven't actually done anything yet. So, before we do anything else, I want to give you guys the skinny and the sneak peek on Roll for Caffeine, which is my new little game. I kind of gave an overview on Sunday of how I was going to play it, but I've actually laminated up some cards and drawn out some little details and a bit more information. And I was hoping that you guys could run through it with me. We're not actually going to make the coffee off the back of this, obviously, because I'm on stream. But I thought we could play the game and we could see what coffee we end up making, which would be quite fun. And Mr. Bezic, if you're still around, I actually have an idea that I want to do something for this. So please DM me after the stream, or if you're free one day this week and you fancy popping over, let me know. Mainframe providers are bleeding financial institutions dry for extended support licenses. Yeah, but they've got no choice. Why wouldn't you in that position? Why wouldn't you? Okay. It's the bank's own fault for not modernizing. and getting rid of technical debt. So here we have my dice tower and some dice. This is the dice tower. Again, pretty nice. And this is how we're going to roll the dice. So, pop that together. You have all the time in the world for me. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. This is not the idea we discussed the other day. This is a new idea because I'm full of them and my mind never stops. I have a marker and I have some laminated sheets. So, I want feedback on this, guys, and I want you to tell me what you think. And we'll play Roll for Caffeine and we'll see what drink we come out with today. So this is Roll for Caffeine. These are the cards, powered by my coffee company, Jay's Roastery. And we have the first roll up. So the first roll is we're going to roll a d4, and if there's an even number, we're going to have peace. And if we have an odd number, chaos will reign. In fact, let me zoom in a little bit more so you can kind of read these a little bit better. There we go. So we're going to take a d4, and we're going to drop it down, and we're going to see whether we get chaos or not. We get a 3. It's an odd number, so chaos reigns. We'll have a look at chaos later on. Second roll is a d6. In fact, one you guys can see. There we go. Is it going to be a hot or a cold coffee? 1 or 2 gives us a hot coffee. 3 or 4 gives us a cold coffee. 5 is dealer's choice, or 6 tepid. Can you explain the basic principle? It's playing Dungeons and Dragons character building, but to create a coffee. So we're going to create a coffee drink by rolling dice, and we're going to do this on Instagram and TikTok and all of those kind of things on the Coffee Company channel, starting on Friday. But this is kind of like a test. So I want you guys to tell me if you like, if you guys want me to change something. To have the D20 be a 4, so it could be roll for caffeine. Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT did this for me. So, well, not GPT, but Perplexity did that for me. So yeah, but you're right. You're right. I just asked for it to be a D20 in the roll for caffeine logo. Anyway, so we're going to roll a D6 to decide what coffee we get, and that's 5. So it's dealer's choice. So chat, first person to tell me dealer's choice: hot coffee, cold coffee, or tepid coffee. First person. Tepid. Okay. Tepid wins. So we are doing a tepid. Adam was there first with tepid coffee. He picked tepid coffee. I don't know why you would pick that, but we are. This is how we've got it. Base coffee type. So again, we have espresso, pour over. 1 to 2, 3 to roll 1 to 2, it's an espresso. Roll 3 to 4, it's a pour over. 5 is dealer's choice, and 6 we have instant coffee only. Oh, it was before the roll. Oh, okay. Who was first then? So it's hot. Okay, so let's go. I mean, obviously we're not actually making this coffee, but so we're going hot. It was dealer's choice, but we're going hot. Okay, because that was Godzilla Waddle. Yeah, but it's got to be some bad results. Anyway, what type of coffee we're making today? We are making 5 dealer's choice again. Okay, dealer's choice. Right, guys, what do you want to see? Do you want to see espresso, pour over, or instant? First one to comment decides it. Instant. Thanks, Godzilla Waddle. So we're making a hot instant coffee. Great. Okay. Got milk. So this is where we're going to roll. I don't have... Oh, I do have a D8. Do I have a one you can read? Yeah. So we're going to roll a D8, which is here. And this is going to determine the type of milk we're going to use for it. Are we going to be dairy, almond milk, oat, soy milk, half dairy, half oat, or none? 2, so it's going to be dairy. Can we choose tea? Only if you come to the workshop. Right, we're now going to roll a D20. So we have a D20 here. And this is going to tell us the type of drink or the way we're going to prepare the milk for the drink. So is it going to be latte foam? Is it going to be flat white foam? Is it going to be cappuccino? Or is it just going to have to cut all losses and now we're just going to have to chuck some ice in there? 12. We are going to make thick cappuccino foam. This should be a D4. Why should, like, the bigger number, the bigger dice is more fun though, right? Half dairy, half oat fills me with terror. That's firmly a homebrew class kind of coffee. Wait until you see the chaos sheet. The milk prep method is a D4 in disguise. It is, absolutely, yeah. That's kind of perfect. It's a D4 in disguise. It's a D4 in disguise. Spiky caltrop dice are the best dice. Absolutely. Okay. How many flavor shots are we going to put in? So if you roll a 1 to a 5, you get none. If you roll a 6 to a 10, you get 1. If you roll an 11 to a 15, you get 2. And if you roll a 16 to 20, you get 3 flavor shots. So let's pick a different dice. Let's roll this one, the golden dice. 1. No flavor shots. Okay. So if we were going to roll for flavor shots, we'd have a D20 here. The reason we're going to use a D20 for this one is because there's going to be a lot more options as I get more flavor shots in. They're expensive, and I don't know how well this is going to go. So I've only prompted to pick like 5 or 6 flavor shots for this. So bear in mind that there will become more flavor shots, and this card will expand over time. But if we'd hit something like 3 flavor shots, we'd be picking 3 from this list. So we have an extra espresso shot, classic hazelnut, French vanilla, normal vanilla, or classic caramel. So yeah. Wondering if having the dealer's choice on some sheets is not defeating the purpose of the game for those steps. Well, you have to make the dealer's choice at the time, so you don't know how that's going to impact it. But it means that you can make a nicer coffee or a worse coffee, right? It depends. Depends. But I like the fact that and the beauty of this is we can change this at any time. Okay, so that's flavor shots. There's no flavor shots today. Top off. How are we going to top off the drink? We need to roll a D6 for this. I did have a pink D6, it's there. Non-maple syrup, cinnamon sprinkles, chocolate sprinkles, squirty cream, or an extra espresso shot. If you get this wrong, there is a way of having 5 double espresso shots in this. So we roll this, and we get a 3, which means we put some cinnamon sprinkles on top of the coffee. Nice. And then here is the Chaos Reigns one. So we did roll Chaos, which means that we do need to roll a D12. I don't actually have a D12 here. Why do I not have a D12? I don't have a D12 on hand. But here, I mean, we can roll 2 D6s actually. That will mean that the only thing we can't get is a 1. But these are the things: peppermint shot in your coffee, a lime shot in your coffee, Tabasco or hot sauce, a Marmite rim. So you have the rim of the coffee cup would have Marmite all around the outside edge. Roll a D20. Yeah, we could do a D20. Chug it. So you have to chug it. Sea salt. Marshmallows. Use a straw. So you have to drink your coffee with a straw. Black pepper. No mugs. So you have to go around the workshop and find another receptacle for your drink. A watermelon shot. Or ice cream. Is a Marmite rim a real thing? It is now. I've invented it, yeah. I think you just offended the D&D people by saying 2d6 is a d12. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll roll a d20, and if it's above a 12, we'll re-roll, okay? 18, it was above a 12. 20, it's above a 12. 12, so we get ice cream. So this would have been a really nice coffee, actually. This would have been basically an affogato, a hot instant coffee, which isn't too bad for an affogato, with some cinnamon on top, with some cappuccino milk and some ice cream. So yeah, there you go. That would be. No, it's also center weighted. I just found my line. I do have a D12 over there, so I can go get one. I think. I have a whole pack of dice over there, so there will be a D12, I'm sure. But if not, I can always refactor this anyway to something else. Great sword is different to great axe. It's important. Some of these outcomes are crazy. Marmite and hot sauce, yeah. And the thing is, what I fancy doing on the Chaos Reigns one is, if we roll an even number and we get peace for the day, we'll have 2 dice the next day. So you might end up with a thing where you can end up with 3 or 4 or 5 dice with odd numbers and end up having to put a few of the Chaos Reigns items in the coffee. So that's what we're going to do. There's still like the reason why I printed this out this week and decided to play it this week is just to make sure I'm finding any of the gaps in the game. Like we found the D12 gap. Like maybe I need to make that like an 18 or a 20 dice or something like that. I must have a D12 over there. Can't see one. Anyway, yeah, I'll fix all of this and it'll be live at the end of the week. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to play Roll for Caffeine. fun or not? Roll 1 on a d20 and make a Nescafe instant coffee instead. So there is the opportunity you can roll a d6 and you can end up with instant coffee. You can end up with an instant coffee. That will be the only coffee that's not provided by Jay's Roastery. The Marmite ring is what you'll now be remembered for, Jay. You can retire in peace. Thanks. Do you have good instant from a roaster, or is it supermarket instant? It'll be the cheapest supermarket instant I can find, Reed. Where can I get that coffee? You can buy my coffee from Jay's Roastery. I can show you exactly where you can buy the coffee from. Where is my browser? Here you go. This is where you can buy it from. Jay's Roastery. This is my coffee shop. This is in the PT Workshop. This image here is in the PT Workshop. You can buy the coffee from the website right now. It'll ship tomorrow. You've read about Marmite rims on Reddit. Love the idea. Sad that you'll be drinking a lot of terrible coffees. Like that's the fun of it though. There are nice options in here. So even on the chaos sheet, there are good options, right? So even on the chaos sheet, there are some nice options. For example, the marshmallows, they're nice. If you've got caramel, sea salt might work really, really well. No mugs is just super fun. Like trying to find something in the workshop to drink a coffee out of. You know, is it going to be a bag? Is it going to be a keyboard case? Is it going to be, you know, something car related? Who knows? And the ice cream, of course, I put that on there because everyone loves an affogato. So yeah. So there we go. Instant coffee is valid if it's stick blended with sugar and a little crushed ice until it's a thick, sturdy foam of pure caffeinated spite. Okay. I'm not going to answer that. Sci-Fi Blend is lovely. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Sorry it's been asked yet. Oblo posted that DHL is not shipping to the US right now because of tariff setup or something. We have no issues, patches with DHL just yet. DHL Germany may have different rules to DHL UK. I don't know. We've been shipping stuff just fine. I know the stuff does change at the end of the month. We only use Express for US, DHL Express. We don't use the slower routes, which I think they're worried about impacting. DHL Express will always use DHL's own clearing methodology rather than USPS, which means that I don't think that will be delayed, but if you order after the end of the month, tariffs may or may not apply depending on how they're enforced and whether Trump changes his mind. I don't know. But right now we use DHL Express only for US deliveries, and there are no tariffs at the moment on those imports. I suspect if you order on the 28th or 29th and then after that, you will get tariffs. So ideally I would suggest that people in the US order now, and we'll get stuff out. And also there's 30% off certain things whilst we're on stream today, so use a discount if you can. Fiction Blend I had last time, actually. Haven't tried the Sci-Fi yet. I should do that. Get your order in, dude. Okay, perfect. Ordering now. Thank you, Jay. Cool. Anyway, you can have DHL as a choice for group buys. So keep it. The reason why UPS is the choice at the moment is because we're trialing DHL to see if they can offer cheaper rates and have the same level of service as UPS is giving us. It also gives me leverage to try and get UPS to drop their prices and then use whichever's better. We only have DHL currently enabled until week commencing the 25th. So Monday the 25th is the last day we'll have DHL enabled on the store, unless we sign the contract to move fully over to them. That will mean that UPS is no longer an option. So because of that, because it's only another week that we've got it on, we're only doing it on in-stock orders because group buy orders are going to ship in 6 months' time. And if we stick with UPS, we don't want you to be paying the DHL rate now and then us have to pay the UPS rate in the future and bill you the difference in the future, because you're not going to like that. So if we move over and sign over officially, then yeah, we will do it. If UPS drop their prices, then we'll refund any shipping differences when it comes to it, as we always have done. So yeah, that's the way we're doing it. Yeah. Okay. The other good thing about Roll for Caffeine as well is if you come to the workshop, you can play the game. Like, I will make you play the game. to decide what coffee you're going to have. But it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. As I say, I think these cards will change over time. I probably already got some ideas on things I want to tweak and change on them, and I might have to get the laminator out to make some more, but we'll see. How many ingredients from the Chaos one you can get between 1, 2, and 3, so you might end up with several things from the Chaos deck. Yeah, so what I think I'm going to do is, rather than that, I'm going to say, if we roll a piece on the Chaos, does Chaos Rain, and you have peace, which is an even number, the next day you'll have 2 dice. If you get peace again with both those 2 dice, the next day you'll have 3 dice. And sooner or later, you're going to have a roll that has more than 1 Chaos win. Each Chaos roll will have its own pick from the Chaos menu. So if we end up with 3 dice and they all come out with an odd number, then there will be 3 Chaoses added to the drink. So yeah. So if we did it the other way, I think it might be just too common. And like, I want to enjoy some of these coffees. I want to make some good coffees, and obviously the highlight is making some bad coffees, right? So yeah, I want to try and make it at least a little bit fair. I don't want everything to just have pure chaos all the time, because that would just be chaos. But yeah, I think that could be fun. I think that could be fun. I was so glad I could choose DHL instead of UPS on my latest order. It's so hard to change delivery options for UPS, and my parcels from PT often arrive battered. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things we've been raising with UPS. I mean, once the package leaves us, we can't control it. We do make sure everything's packaged and the packaging does its job to protect the items inside, but that's, you know, the best we can offer with any courier service. We've had a lot of US customers complain about DHL historically, like when we used to use DHL exclusively a couple of years ago. So yeah, it swings and roundabouts, and often it's the last mile drivers as well, which we have no control over. So yeah. Cool. Anyway, I hope you guys will come and check out Jay's Roastery on Instagram for Roll for Caffeine at the end of the week. I'm really... Oh, I need to glue this on because I keep trying to pick the tower up with the top. Yeah, but I'm excited for Roll for Caffeine. I think it's going to be fun. I'll dig some more dice out as well. Make sure we've got D12, or I've changed the options. I was going to use these dice because I really like them. But they're really hard to read on camera because the letters are just engraved and not filled. So I think we're probably going to stick with the pink ones because they're much more legible for everything else. Cool. I've just dropped everything on the floor. There we go. Right, okay, next up, I want to show you some switches. Yeah, I ordered the pink ones because they are RSPC themed. That's literally why I ordered them. I did get some funky ones as well. I actually got, I just ordered a couple of extra D20s because I love them. This one's nice and fun. And then I thought it'd be nice to have a chaos dice that was golden. So we'll use that for chaos rolls. Because it's a bit chaotic. Okay, so these are the switches I want to show you today. These are in stock and ready to ship, and they are the Gateron lanes. If any of you've never seen switch tubs, this is how they come. There's roughly 250 switches in each portion, so a whole tub has 1,000 switches in, give or take 10%. Literally, Gateron say give or take 10% on a lot of the invoices. So these are some of the ones we have in stock, Gateron lanes. What are Gateron lanes? These are a semi-silent. You can barely hear me clicking it. These are a semi-silent click switch that feels like an Alps. If you've ever tried like a brown Alps, or maybe even a salmon Alps to a certain extent, these feel like an Alps key press in a lot of ways, but they also use a click jacket to enable that feeling. But they're a semi-silent click that's almost completely silent. I won't say they're fully silent because there is a tiny bit of key press noise, but it's very, very quiet. So they are a semi-silent clicky. So basically a clicky mechanism that doesn't actually click, just gives tactile feedback. Yeah, that's the way to do it, in a way that feels like an Alp switch. And these are super fun. Are they for everyone? Probably not. Are they some of the funnest switches on the market right now? I would argue so. They are super interesting to press.
Tasty.
They have a great key feel. They actually feel like a lighter brown SKCM Alps. That's what they feel like in terms of feel. If you ever tried a brown Alps, that's kind of like the key press you're getting. And they use a click jacket to make it that tactility. It's kind of interesting. What does an Alps feel like? The tactility is just different. It's a lot more rounder, I think, is the way to describe it in terms of the tactile bump. Like your feet, like once you hit the tactile, you're feeling the tactile all the way down the rest of the key press. It's not like most things like a Holy Panda where you press it, you get over the bump, and then the key drops. You kind of feel the tactility almost all the way down, and it's a much more larger bump but rounder as well at the same time. Thought the Alps was cold and snowy. Close to the Gateron Type R. Yeah, the biggest difference with the Gateron Type R is the fact that the Gateron Type R starts the tactility at the top of the press immediately. This, you have a small amount of depression before you hit the tactility. So you can see there, that's where the tactility starts, and it's like a clearly defining, like it's really easy to stop it on the start of that tactility before you hit the bump, and that's because of the way it uses a click jacket. So let's open one of these up and show you the insides. Moons, thank you so much for 34 months of subs as well, dude. I appreciate you. So I'm just going to pop this open. Is the click high pitched as the leaf is small? You can't really hear the click. That's why I'm calling them semi-silents, because you can't really hear the click. It's almost like a silent click. So it's basically a click leaf that's not clicky, but a click leaf that adds tactility. Oh man, it's stuck in the switch opener. I knew there was a reason why I didn't use the switch opener. Okay, so first things first, let's look at the top housing. So the top housing is broadly normal. It's got that raised curved edge on the top there. And you'll notice that it does have a couple of little extra tabs inside compared to usual. So I'll have a look on the base housing and you'll see what those are for in a moment. In terms of the stem, you'll see it's got a true slider rail. Come on, please focus. Camera. There you go. You'll see it's got a true slider rail. And if you look at the front of it, you can see why it's got this tactility as well to an extent. Pretty interesting. There's a small amount of factory lube on there as well, as you can see. Spring. Just a general spring. Nothing untoward about it. I don't know the weight of the spring, but it's sprung. The spring has sprung. And here's the interesting part. So this is the base. So first thing you're going to notice when the camera focuses is you do have the dual slider rails here, which is like a T-slot there and there. That's for the stem. So the stem actually slides into the slider rails. You can see that the rail actually goes through the center of the stem in the gap there. So these have absolutely low wobble. Now, the other thing you'll notice is whilst this is in here, the plunger for the is basically go in. Why will you go in? There we go. So the legs are going to push the leaf closed, but they act like a linear one. But what you'll see is around this side, you'll see there's another little metal leaf. That's the click leaf, and can you see how it flicks the leaf there? You see that leaflet getting flicked this side? That's where the tactility comes from, and it basically comes from this corner impacting onto that secondary silver leaf in here, and it basically flicks it. Now what the top housing does is it actually pushes this over slightly, so it sits even further underneath. So whilst I was sliding this up and down, you can see it is don't play Andre. You can see it is moving that little click leaf a little bit, but what the top housing does is it has that little nubbin on the base of it just here on the front edge, just there. And what that does is that pushes the silver leaf back towards the center of the switch. So it's going to push it from this side. It's going to lean it forwards, which means it's going to sit underneath it, which is just going to give it increased tactility. So there you go. So that's how they work. They are really, really impressive. I need to make sure I don't put this back in the tub because I've lost the spring. They're super fun. Super, super fun. No mushy rubber? No. No. Just a silent clicky. I always said I'd never stock clickies, and here we are. A silent clicky. Let me pause the music and I'll see if you guys can actually hear the switch. Where's the music gone? Okay, so let me put a keycap on it so it's a little bit louder. You can't really hear the click. It's very, very much a quiet click. And it's more just using that clicky mechanism to give it a tactile feel. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. They're super, super tactile. Super, super tactile. Let me grab a Type R for comparison. So I think the difference between a Type R, let's put the music back on, is the Type R starts the tactility almost immediately. Like there is no key press. Like you can see on the like it just immediately drops. But on the lanes, there's kind of like a little period pre-actuation that you can feel, and you can almost kind of set the switch to that point. You can like prime it ready for the actuation. Feels like scratchy clicky. Never tried apps before, so I can only describe what I hear. So from a sound perspective, they are a little bit scratchy. I think if you loop them up, they're a little bit different. But the tactility, if you were completely deaf, the tactility feels like an Alps. Priming is remarkably satisfying. Yeah, it is. What's the treble? I'd have to check the specs, but it seems like it's full treble. I don't think these are long pole. Yeah, which the Gateron Type R is a long pole. These are not long pole. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. They've been really popular. There is a chance that we will restock them if they sell out because they have been popular. Wax boil them. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with these. We're going to put these into the oblique when we build the oblique later on this week. Yeah, unfortunately you can't stem swap these because the stems do have that little put the tool away. Potatoes. Yeah. The stem does have that little nubbin on it that I showed you before, which is used for the click. So you can see here in this bottom corner where the click mark is, the stem actually has a lump on that bottom corner. Can you see there? There's like a little bit of raised plastic on that side, just here where my nail is. There isn't on this side. So you might find that stem swapping doesn't give you the same feel because that extended part of the stem is what's hitting that tactile leaf. I meant to do that. Almost flung the leaf out doing it this way. It's really hard to show you, but you can kind of see it flicks the leaf like that. That silver bit that's flashing, that's where it's hitting the leaf. Just like so. Everyone loves a good nubbin. And whilst you got those in the basket, you might as well get 30% off some other things because we've got the discount live, right? There you go. I'm terrible at shilling, but I've got to do it sometimes, right? There's a whole point of streaming sometimes. Right, okay. So those are the Gateron lanes. If these sell out, we will stock some more. But yeah, let me know how that goes. Or I'll let you know how it goes. But do share your thoughts on them in chat if you're in the Discord server. Okay, before we get on to fixing my PCB, I thought we'd do a little bit of a looking round on Geekhack, because I haven't been on Geekhack for a couple of days, so I figured I'd take a look at a few things and share my thoughts with you guys. So first up, we've got a link here, which is the Tokyo Keyboard Expo 2025 by Yusha Kobo on Z Frontier. Interesting. September the 23rd in Akibara in Tokyo. That could be fun. Anybody fancy a Tokyo trip? Is that going to be in Japanese? It is. Should we translate it? Interesting. Who's going? Akunix, Kimoji, Vimeo, Milky Way is going to be there. Creative, Keytalk, Arbiter, Nerda, Low-Free, Lele Lab, Wooting are going to be there. Uche, JTK, Quest Keys and Neo, HHKB, Ask Corporation, Keychron. Perhaps we should go to this. Perhaps PT needs to attend. I probably can't justify. Why is it on a Tuesday? How weird that it's on a Tuesday. I'm not usually a fan of PBT fan designs, but the Memphis 98 is so nice, I had to mention it. Dude, like the Memphis 98 is actually one of my favorite sets of this year, I think. It's so cool. Where is it? There it is. Like, I like this because I like old Windows shit. Like, because I'm such a geek and a nerd, I like old Windows stuff. Look how cool this is. It's got all of the cool keys. It's got everything you could possibly want in an old Windows themed set. There's two different base kits. There's the standard cherry version, and then there's the actual font for this. Look how cool the font is on that, though. Super, super cool. Super fun. And look at these for novelties. Look at these. How cool are these? Absolutely adore them. Adore them. I'm tempted to build a keyboard around them because I think they're really cool. Yeah, super, super cool. And it's only 68 quid for a base kit, which is, you know, stupid cheap anyway. 68 quid. So yeah. Wanted to buy a set of SL Cypher just to show my support, but couldn't find it on the site. Did you put it up yet, or was it just not salvageable? It is. It's actually on my whiteboard of list of things to do downstairs. VRugdush. They will be up soon-ish, and I appreciate you wanting to show your support and pick them up. Cypher was probably a project that I detest more than most others, just because it was so awkward and awful, and I spent so many hours sorting through keys for that. None of the keys that we have left would I consider A stock. They'll be fine, they'll work, but they're just the legends are slightly misaligned or skewed or whatever, so they're not great. They're not great. Cheaper event space, that's most likely the reason. Yeah, you're not driving to this one though. You could drive to Japan if you wanted to. Yeah, it must be a holiday in Tokyo. Yeah, has glitch vibes for sure. Yeah. I'm hoping for a Win 2000 ME set. As much as most people hate that Windows, it's where I started as a kid. That's fair. Not a Windows fan. Call me when there's a Clippy novelty. There are probably issues with that. And I think Clippy was later than that. Oh no, Clippy would have been around in 98. Yeah, Clippy would have been around in 98. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'd love to go to the Tokyo Keyboard Expo. I probably can't justify the cost of doing it, but I would love to go. If anyone wants to pay for me to go, you know, let me know. Windows XP is just goated. Driving to Japan would be taking my car back to the motherland. Nice. Yeah, it would be actually, yeah. I still find my top 2 rows of keycaps trying to pop off on this keyboard. I need to bring it in for you to see. Also, I'd love to go to Japan. Definitely need a holiday. Are you coming up this week, Gemma, for Keyboard and Coffee on Thursday? I don't know. Are you coming? Hi Jay, GMK Retrowave and Sumi just got delivered with a bigger PT box. Excited to open. Yeah, it should have your keyboard in it as well. I did ask Mel to ship everything together. I just got my Aeropress brew to exactly 200 grams of the standard kettle. Hard to achieve this level of perfectionism. Yeah, I need to get a new goose, a goose stemmed kettle because my old one broke. It was dropped and the spout has snapped. So yeah, but Jehovah, your board that we built on Sunday should be in that box. That's why the box is bigger. Okay, so we've looked at that. Let's see what else is on. So look at the DK 60%. Okay, so this is actually the DK 160 is actually in Group Buy Live right now. This is live on the PT website, so you can pick this up. It is
incredible. A
pretty cool keyboard. Look at these weights. I love the fact that we're getting super cool designs on weights and stuff now. Big fan of that kind of thing. Oh wait, what happened there? Yeah, big fan of that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a great price. It's got some cool designs. Look at this. Look at this. Look how nice this is. You can see machining patterns and flow lines. Look at that. What's not to love? What's not to love? It's only open until September 2nd, so yeah. Go pick up if you can. It's a great little starboard. We've looked at GMK Highlight before. If you like this kind of set, you're gonna like it. If you don't, you don't. Like, it's gonna be Marmite to people. Maybe next Thursday though. No worries, Gemma. I'll be here. Let's see what the I saw this Zora post on there. What's the latest on this? Is there a new update? Is that what we're looking at? Okay, cool. So interesting. There's some Devocal insights in there. Nice. Cool. What else should we look at? Okay, GMK Nervewrecker. I'm excited for this one. It's basically Nerve but redone. It's a cool set, right? So it's falling into that kind of highlighted color space. It's got some cool legends. It's got the kind of fun gradient if you've got like a split board, something like that. It's nice. It's nice. Second B's in the alternate color. This is kind of nice. Alternate alphas. Some really, really cool legends for the novelties, including some of the Nerve ones. So if you kind of draw a line across this key, it does say Nerve on it, I believe. But yeah, Nervewrecker. After the whole Loot Switches fiasco, Nervewrecker is coming. Some cool designs here. You might recognize some of these logos. Do you recognize this one, maybe? So yeah, so that's coming soon. Keep an eye out for that. What else do we need to look at? Oh yeah, the Kikobo Dolch Cadet keycap set. We're going to get UK ISO just for the main base kit for this one. Just for this base kit. There's not going to be UK ISO for the other ones, unfortunately. It's just too much money and not enough people are going to buy it. But for the main base kit, UK ISO will be included for UK customers buying from a PT only. Not quite sure why we aren't listed on here, but we should be. But that's live now. Is this Nerve Redo? Who made the set? Manu? Yeah, it's basically Nerve Reader. Yeah. How are the chores going, sir? Going well. Going well. PT lead vendor on Nervewrecker. What else do we need to look at? Gurikawa. I still think this is probably one of the best sets of this year. It is such a cool set. This base kit has my heart all over it. I was hoping that we'd sell enough that it would justify me just going and buying a UK ISO kit for this. It's not selling that well, sadly, but the normie kit is chef's kiss. I wish GMK had let me order like 20 UK ISO kits because it'd be ideal, but they won't. It'd be so cool to have UK ISO on this. But I love this set. It's so fun. Everyone should buy this. I think people who don't buy this and get on this will regret it. Yeah. Cries in Nerve hoodie. Presumably no international support for which set framed? For which set? What else do we need to look at on here? Good Keyboard Friend podcast. Yeah. GMK just beachy. This is live at Group Buy right now. Inspiration of all of the beaches. It's a cool set. If you like blues, it's a really nice set. It's got some great novelties. It's got some great alt alphas. UK ISO is available in the extensions kit. I hope everyone goes and supports it. What I was going to look at here? Oh yeah, the interest check. This is really cool. I like Bobotype's set here. So Honeywell is one of my favorite sets of all time. And the fact that he's bringing Honeywell back as Neo Honeywell, I just think this is really cool because the red's kind of that translucent now. It's got the sub-legends. These are triple shot, if I remember correctly. I'm hoping we can bring this to the UK because I love this set. Honeywell is just great. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Classic red, classic grey. Lime green accent as well, and the orange accent, and the teal accent, and pink. Who doesn't want a bit of pink? I don't know if vendors have been set for this yet. I'm kind of hoping that we can be the UK vendor on this because I really love this set. I think this will do really, really well. I think it'll do extremely well. Oh no, hold on. I closed off the. Wait. What else do we need to look at? Tidal Arcana. Oh, this is a fun set. I like this. This is kind of like UK ISO and base, or semi UK ISO and base. It's got some of the UK ISO keys in base, but not all of them. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, and translucent keys as well. So double shot, nice. It's very similar to the Just Beachy set. It's kind of fun though. I like it. I like it, and another UK kit too. Nice. They should just put the 3 UK ISO keys in the base kit, and then just have a Nordic kit. KKB 2-color UK ISO. Yeah. Other EU languages also use ISO layout input, yeah. Yeah, so there's different versions of ISO. ISO is just a layout coverage, but then there are language-specific legends to use on those keys. So yeah. When I saw KKB, I assumed it would be you, but I guess that isn't a given. It's up to the designer often who they want to work with. I hope the Honeywell gets international kit this time around. It's one of the all-time greatest set. I love the accents kits too. The pink accent kit with Honeywell would be great. Oh yeah, the Bulwark TKL is finally going to be shipping soon as well, I've been told. So we're waiting for a few little bits on that, but yeah, it's not too far away. And I think that's pretty much it for there. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, Led Zepp R2, that's in stock already. So I don't know what the update is here. There you go. But we've had the extras in stock for a little while now. Theseus shipping soon too. Yeah, we've been told that Theseus should be with our freight forwarding agent soon-ish, but I don't know exactly when. We'll update Notion when we know that. Yeah. Might see you on the other side if you're still on. Yeah, I might be around for another hour or so. We'll see. We'll see. New photos from Maker Chun for Led Zepp, I believe. Yeah, it's in stock as well, so people can buy it. Like, it's out there now. Like, you can go on the website, I think, if we just search for it. There you go. In stock, ready to ship. The thing is, it's a round 2 as well, so there's all of the round 1 photos. Like, these are real photos from round 1, so, you know, like, it's a known quantity. People know what it is. Any JO1 or JO3 news available? We've had renders done. It's coming. It's coming. Planning meeting 2 PM to 5 PM. Time to whiteboard. No worries, Mr. Reeve. See you later, dude. So yeah, JO1, JO3. As soon as I can make them happen, I will. I'm just conscious that the market is reducing and capital availability is tough right now, and we need to make sure we've got enough capital available to underwrite it should shit hit the fan. Wherever we're the lead vendor, I like to make sure that we have that opportunity. Don't know if you want or can filter out the sold out stuff from the hot right now bit in the cart. It should only show in stock things, but I'll have a look at that later. I'll have a look at that. Thoughts on the Cloud9 R2? I don't think the IC is on keycap. The Cloud9 is a nice keyboard. I've not had one in hand, so I don't know how they actually are IRL. We did talk with Rabbit about being the UK vendor for it a while back, and it just didn't work out. Like the costs were just a little bit too high, and the numbers needed were too much, like, for an MLQ perspective, if I remember rightly. But like, I just don't think the UK market is big enough for the number of boards we'd need to buy. But I think it's a reasonably nice board. Yeah. Like I can only say as much as that without actually having one on hand, and I don't have one here to show you guys or to even comment on any more than that, I'm afraid. So yeah, but it looks like a really lovely board. Looks like a lovely board. Going to do some work around the house. We'll DM you in a little bit. No worries, dude. Yeah, just drop me a DM whenever you're ready. I need to have a chat with you about your DM from the other day as well. So if you want to pop up this week, maybe we have a chat, Mr. Crispies. Okay, so that leads us on to the next thing I need to do. So the next thing I wanted to share with you is a little bit different. And it's going to need me to open up Fusion. Because sometimes we... How best to explain this? We offer a plate cutting service, right? Okay, so you can go on the PT website, and you can click on the menu, and you can come down to, is it under information? services, and we offer a custom laser cutting service. Okay, so you can order laser cut POM plates, as you can see here, in stock, black POM, natural POM, different sizes. I don't know why that's sold out. Why is that sold out? Let me fix that. That should not be sold out. There we go. Don't know why it says restocking soon. I've just literally restocked it. Why is it saying restocking soon? Oh, there we go. There we go. It just took some time to propagate the decision through. Right, okay, cool. So yeah, so we offer a POM plate cutting service, which is great. People can have their own plate files cut. All you need to do is send us the plate file. And order whichever size roughly your keyboard is. So 40% or smaller, they're only 18 quid. 60-65% is 23 quid. A TKL is 25 quid. And then a full size kind of thing is going to be like 30 quid, right? Okay, just basically primarily on laser cutting time and the cost to run the laser and the cost of the material as well. So we break even around £25 on a plate based on time to set the laser up, material and laser cost. So we make a small profit on full size ones. We make a pretty big loss on 40% ones. Okay, that's kind of like where we're at right now.
Incredible.
In terms of the plates, like when people send us the files, we do give some information here. Like we do say we want it in DXF format and we'll cut your plate within 3 working days and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes we get plate files which are less than stellar in quality. And I kind of wanted to show you guys what this looks like, because we then have to like either fix the plate file or go find another plate file or tell the customer like we're not sure. And we had one from a customer the other day who I won't name drop obviously because that's like breach of data protection, but they sent me a plate file and asked me to cut it, and we had some serious issues with it. And I just kind of wanted to walk you through what that kind of looks like, and then just how much time it takes for us to fix that when we're already making a loss on these products. So yeah, let's catch up with chat. Do you do polypropylene? On occasion. We don't have any in stock right now, but we'll try and get it. Is an acrylic plate possible? Chat. Yeah, you can do acrylic plates. You'd need to order the acrylic for us, but we can do it. Like, we can easily cut it. I just don't stock the acrylic because it's expensive. Acrylic is not cheap because you need cast acrylic for really nice clear plates. You want it in certain thicknesses. It does become quite fragile. Would probably have picked black POM for the other plate. I will include you one for free. V-Rugdush. I will send you both natural and black for free. There you go. Reinforces how monstrous 40% enjoys that. Yeah, I mean, like they want it cheaper because it's a smaller file, but it doesn't actually cost much less. It costs maybe £1 in material less because of the size of it, but the actual time for setting the laser up and the laser run time is broadly the same. So yeah. Did you manage to get an ISO plate file for the Cloudline V2? I was given the file not last night, the night before. I have not made it ISO yet. I will do it at some point when I have like a spare hour. But yeah, we'll get to that. Need to work out how to add split left shift for a hero plate. For some reason they left it out and I have 2 useless plates for it now. This is alright. If you send me the plate file, I can do that. Anyway, I wanted to show you this customer's plate file. So he's requested a plate file for a Lucky 65. It's not a keyboard we sell. It's not a keyboard we've ever sold. We had some sample units and we decided not to sell it because the quality wasn't great. But he sent me a plate file. And this file has some images. So I have just got you the free Google viewer here. Now, here's a plate file. For a start off, you'll see that it has, this is as the customer sent to me. I've not edited this. I've just opened it in a way that you guys can see it. So you'll see that it has a weird frame around it with some Japanese text. That's not too difficult to remove. We don't need that. We know that the customer's not going to want that. But let's have a look at the edge of the plate. First of all, you'll see that there is a nice smooth curved line here. And then there's this weird janky edge around it. Well, we're going to delete this frame here anyway, so we don't need it. But that's going to leave us with this line here. Now it looks nice and smooth until you look at it here and you realize that that's not square and straight. That's actually curving, and it's hard to show this on the screen. But like, this line is wavy and not actually straight. It looks almost hand drawn. You can see parts of the line are thicker and thinner in places. It's actually a multitude of individual lines that are, you know, a few centimeters long. Some of the lines overlap. It's hard to show you here because it doesn't, no matter how much you zoom in, it doesn't actually show you that. But you can see where the line's thicker here. That's because lines are overlapping. It's kind of weird. Secondly, there are two switch cutouts on this plate. There is an internal one, and then there's an external one. Now, my first thought was maybe this plate was designed to have a chamfer on it, and you cut out the internal one, and this is a chamfer mark. Only it doesn't work like that because these are really sharp and rigid corners. So do we want the inside and outside one? Well, that led me to measure the plate file. And across the whole width of the plate file from this point here to this point here is just over 1 meter. Each of the switch cutouts is gigantic. They are huge and they aren't great. So it's to the wrong scale as well. So now we have a few things to fix. We need to know whether we need the internal or external diameter for the switches. We need to understand why the plate isn't actually a square line. And we have some other issues with the plate file. Such as like the outside frame needs removing and everything else. So then I wanted to draw your attention to these flex cuts. You can see there's some flex cuts here. And if I zoom in on this corner, you'll see that there are two cuts again for the flex cut, an internal and an external diameter. The internal diameter one has some weird stuff going on. That's a poor radius. It's a weird radius. This is also not straight. It's kind of like an oval. But the diameter and difference between these changes over the length of the cut, and it also gets really narrow at places and has weird bows in it. So I'm not quite sure which is the correct one. And when you look at some of the flex cuts, like down here, like that's significantly closer to this. Like look how thin it gets at this point here. It's just a really bizarre setup, and that's repeated in different places. It looks like these were hand drawn onto the plate file, both the internal and the outer diameter ones as well, because you can see here like this is not kind of like nicely curved. It's bizarre. Then I wanted to draw your attention to the stabilizer cutouts. So these are for plate mount stabilizers, only they are incredibly rounded and not great. And again, we don't know if we need the internal diameter or the external diameter. And I don't think clip-in plate mounted switches will actually work on this because the radius of some of these corners looks way off and way too soft and not stringent enough to fit them in. But we're still not done yet. We also have some other issues. Notably, there is a cutout here for a switch to change the mode of the PCB, whether it's in wireless or wired mode. And that's not a great oval. And this is not a great oval. So I don't know whether we need the internal diameter, the external diameter, or not. I think we have the screw holes. This is supposed to be a screw hole. Now I suspect only the internal one needs cutting. Only those aren't perfect circles. They are way off. I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to be. And I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to be. At first I thought, oh, they were just chamfers. The more I look at this plate file, the more I find issues with it, because those are not circular. And they're all different as well. That one looks very similar, but there is some other ones over here which are just not gonna cut the mustard. This has got a different shape in a different location. You can see here we also have more issues with the stabilizer cutouts, and then you can also see that the plate file has non-standard corners no matter which one of these we cut. It's an interesting plate file. So this is one of those circumstances where we look at this file and go, like, I'm not confident, even if we get the scale correct, I'm not confident this plate file is going to work for the customer. So I went back to the customer's like, look, these are some of the issues I've noticed. What do you want me to do? Customer replied back and said, I don't know, you're the expert, fix it. And it's kind of like a case of, we could make this plate file as it is right now, and it would probably not work for the customer and for the board. And I don't know who's putting out files like this. I really, really don't know who's putting these out. Like, if you're a keyboard designer and you're making a plate file for your board, this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. So, what I was going to try and do is see if I can find a different plate file online that's better. I'm just going to Google this because I don't know. I don't know what... do you know, why not? Why not share it? Why not share it? Lucky 65 V2 plate. So you can buy the plates. Okay. So instantly, I now know what the customer's done. I found these plates on the WeCam's site. Okay. I know what the customer's done. The customer has taken this image. They've taken this image, they've worked out which plate file they want, which is this one, or this one, whichever it is, I don't know, they've got. What they've then done is they've taken a screenshot of this, and they've put it into a DXF converter. That's what's happened here. So, they've taken a screenshot, and they've put it into a DXF converter. That's what they've done. Let's see if we can find some actual plate files. User guides, tutorials, Lucky 65 tutorials on Via. That's nice. Firmware refresh. Do they have a resources page? Softwares and firmwares, maybe. Plate files. Interesting. Let's have a look. Can we preview that? Let me see if I can. Let's see if this is going to show, or if we need to upload it into Fusion. Okay, so this is opened in a new. Give me a second. Let me see if I can open that. It's giving me a new image. Oops, doesn't like that. Let's see if this will work. There we go. So this is what it's now giving me, and I think this is what the customers had and then traced, because this is what we'd expect to see. Nice, crisp angles. You can see there's multiple points for the screw. This is a correct shape now.
Tasty, tasty.
I think, and I think the customers literally just tried to trace this. I think they've literally tried to trace it. I think this is what's happened. So I think we now have a, whether some automated software was used or whether they've actually yeah, okay. Explains the border as well. Yeah. So they've tried to just trace this, and they've got the border on there, and they've just used this image, and I think this is why we've ended up with some of the issues. Okay. ChatGPT ain't good enough for that. ChatGPT probably, maybe. He screen grabbed it and dropped it to you, or someone else has. Yeah. Real person, by the way. Wait, what? Oxy sent me a link. What was Oxy sent me a link to? Oh, is this the file? Oh, okay, so this is the drawing that I've just had here. Yeah, okay. This one. Yeah, okay. Crazy, that's what they actually did? Yeah, okay. Zizora, thank you so much for 15 months of subs. Edge of that copy paste. All that work to trace it, and we were able to find the actual plate in 1 minute of Googling. For real? Yeah, okay. So, now the next step is to open the DWG file in Fusion, delete all the stuff that we don't need, and then export it as a DXF, which is what we need. So let's load up Fusion. I will share my screen for this in a second. Let me just create a new project. Lucky 65 ISO. And I'll share this in a second. In fact, do I have... Is this going to work? Let's see. I'm just going to share Fusion with you. Let's see why that's not working. There we go. Make that a little bit bigger. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is in Fusion, I have this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and import the DXF file, and we're going to see if how that works. Let me see if I can drag and drop this. Is that going to work? Let's upload it. Da-da-da-da-da. Is it going to load? Oh, that works, Tracy. Yeah. The next step is definitely to tell the customer to jog on. It wasn't the cost of sending the original 1 meter wide plate they sent you. Would be funny after they told you to just fix it. Yeah. Did I upload the wrong file here? I think I did. Wait, what file did I upload? Oh, I've uploaded the image. What an idiot. There we go. Look, V2 plate. Let's delete that. There we go. We can delete this as well. Let's see what we have then. Okay, so we have 4 plates. The customer wants the ISO with the full size spacebar, so let's get rid of everything we don't need. All these points all over the place. There are a lot of things I don't know what they're even for. Okay, I think that looks okay. We have got some unusual artifacts in here. Let's just see if everything's drawn correctly. Okay, I see. So these points aren't actually touching, which is why when you select the whole thing, it's only selecting the line. I think it's going to be fine from a laser cutting perspective. Yeah, so when you double click the line, it should be selecting the whole image. It's not, which means that there's actually connection problems in here. So if you see, it's so close, it's not going to matter. Like, I think the difference between there and there is like minuscule. Why aren't you measuring the gap? Measure the gap. Yeah, 0.007 millimeters. 7,000th of a millimeter. This is just sloppy plate maintenance. This is just really, really sloppy. Like, for all intents and purposes, it's not going to make a difference, and I suspect that there's... Can we edit the sketch? Is it going to let us? Yeah, okay. It doesn't even want to let us select these points here. Like, what the frick? Wait, what are you doing, Fusion? It doesn't even want to let us do anything here. Oh my god. Yeah, he doesn't even want to add them on. It's just not even... It's not... Oh, there we go. It's just running really slow, and it wants to offset it. Do you know what? These are also, these are going to be fine. Let's just finish the sketch and let's just have done with it. Yeah, you can do whatever you want, Fusion. It's going to be so close, it's not going to make a difference anyway. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to export this. I'm just going to double check some of the stuff. Alright, we're only going to need the central holes actually, so we can delete some of these wider ones. So with the laser, because it's just a top down, it's only a 2D drawing, we can't actually put chamfers and stuff on, which is what these are designed for. Okay, did we get all of those? Yeah. Okay, I think that's fine. Let's catch up with chat. All that works, Tracy. Yeah. You can lock the imported file, create a new sketch, and just project the outlines you want to use so it keeps on what you need and don't end up with all the artifacts. Yeah, it's just like, I'm just doing this quickly, so we'll just save it. But yeah, we could do other things. All we're going to do now, though, is we're going to export this as a DXF. And that should work. And then what we can do is we can come back to our browser and we can have a look and see if we can get it to show the preview. Oh. Okay, maybe I don't want to do this on stream. Hold on, give me a second. There we go. Is this where it's gonna want me to sign in again? Okay, it's just the same sign in I've done before. Okay, so this is now the new DXF. Yeah, it doesn't want to open it. There we go. Boom. Here we have a new DXF. And as you'll see, this is significantly cleaner already. It's to the correct scale. There are no issues with this. Like there is this tiniest of gaps in places, but they're so small that the laser's not going to even notice them. So now we can actually fulfill the customer's request. We've got just the small screw holes. There we go. So yeah, that's what we have to do for customers sometimes. Gonna need some interesting custom switches for that. Yeah, you could draw it right in the first place. True. When you converted your plate file from a G code or something, yeah. Chamfers, yeah. Not champers, chamfers. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, I mean, go for it. Go for it. Have some champagne if you want to. That's all good with me. That's all good with me. Okay, cool. So now I've done that for the customer. It's taken us, what, 25 minutes of extra time just to get the correct plate file for the customer because they don't know what they're actually buying. And we don't want to send them something that doesn't work. So this is it's one of those times where you try and educate a customer, but because the customer doesn't know the hobby or is barely into it, the easier solution is to just fix it and then say, this is what we've done, and this is what you need to try and be aware of next time. But it looks like we've managed to do this one this time. So I'll get this now cut for the customer tomorrow, and we'll go from there. All fun and games, right? All fun and games. Right, okay. It's 2:30, guys. I am going to go and finish up because DHL and UPS will be here shortly. So I'm going to finish streaming now. I'm going to go ahead and get ready for those arriving and make sure that all the packages get picked up today. I'll be streaming again on Sunday. We're going to be building the oblique keyboard on Sunday, which is really, really cool. We showed the prototype the other day. Do come and check out Roll for Caffeine on Jay's Roastery Instagram on Friday. I'm going to have a play around with some applications and try and figure out how we're going to actually record that. And don't forget you can get 30% off on anything on the link that's pinned. I'll leave that live until the end of the day. But there you go. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you again tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but I'll see you on Instagram tomorrow and see you on Discord for the rest of the day. Take care, and thank you so much for watching. Have a really great rest of your day, guys. Bye-bye.